Python or C sharp? If you ask a Python developer, they will tell you Python is the number one language in the world. Most repositories, most adoption. They're teaching it in third grade now. If you ask a C sharp developer, well, you're probably a C sharp developer, so you know what you'd say. Here's my take. Why pick one of them? Why not use both at the same time? This is not really a new concept. Python under the covers is written in C. NumPy, which runs most of the AI stuff you see out there, has chunks written in Fortran. Languages have always borrowed from each other. The question is not Python versus C sharp. The question is, what if you could use the right tool for the right job without the pain of integrating them? A bit about me. I'm Soren Frederiksen. I'm the CTO and co-founder of MindZ, a process mining company. I built my first neural network in the mid-90s as an electrical engineer student in Denmark. Then I spent 7 years working with a neural network tooling company. So when people talk about AI like it's a brand new thing, I've been at this a while. I've been writing C Sharp since .NET 1. That was 2002. I built my career on .NET. But machine learning has always been part of what I do, which means I've been writing Python that whole time too. You cannot avoid it if you want to be serious in ML work. Let me be direct about this. Python won the AI war. NumPy for numerical computing, pandas for data manipulation, scikit-learn for machine learning, OpenCV for computer vision, TensorFlow, PyTorch for deep learning. Hugging Face have over 1.7 million models, and almost all of them say pip install in the get it started section. This is not a Coke versus Pepsi debate or Mac versus Windows debate, where reasonable people can disagree. When it comes to AI and machine learning libraries, Python is where they're at. That is not changing. But here's the flip side. 6 million developers use C Sharp. There's deep and broad enterprise support. The performance gains between .NET versions have been insane. C Sharp can literally be faster than unoptimized C in some cases. You've got Visual Studio, JetBrains, VS Code, you've got Blazor, ASP.NET, minimal APIs. The .NET ecosystem is not going anywhere either. So we have got two great ecosystems, and until recently, if you wanted to use both, you had to get creative. Here's what we used to do. Build a REST API, run Python as a separate service on localhost, call it over HTTP, pass JSON back and forth. It works, kind of. But now you are maintaining two services, two deployments, dealing with serialization overhead, network latency. If there is an exception in Python, good luck catching that cleanly from C Sharp. And the authentication, where's this endpoint secured? What information is going over the wire? We also did crazier thing, start a Python console app as a sub process, copy files to disk, load it back up, and get the response back in another file. It works, but it's definitely a hack. This year at Microsoft Build, Anthony Shaw and Scott Hanselman showed something that changed how I think about this problem. Anthony created a library called C Snakes, and honestly, for me, this was bigger than any of the AI announcements Microsoft made at that conference, because here was an answer to a problem I'd been fighting with for years. C Snakes embeds Python directly into your .NET process, not a REST API, not a sub process. The Python threads are the same threads as your .NET threads. The memory heap for Python is in the same process as your .NET memory. You call Python functions like they are native C# methods. It uses Python's C API under the hood. That API is tricky to use directly, so Anthony wrapped it and added a stack of tooling on top of it to make it actually practical. You drop a Python file into your .NET solution. CSnakes is a source generator. So at build time, it reads your Python file, looks at the type hints, and generates a strongly typed C# interface. IntelliSense works. You get autocomplete. You get compile time checking. The generated code handles all the marshalling types between Python and .NET types. You never have to look at the generated code if you do not want to. It just works. One important thing. CSnake requires type hints in your Python code. Python is dynamically typed. People say it is weakly typed, but it is not. It has types. You just cannot always see them. With CSnakes, you add type hints to your Python functions. Those hints tell CSnakes what C# types to generate. No type hints, no code generation. If you use an AI to write Python for CSnakes and it skips the type hints, your code will not work. Here's one of the killer features. When you are doing AI and ML work, you're often dealing with large matrices of floating point numbers. Copying those back and forth over rest would be horrible. Even copying them within the same process is expensive. CSnakes can share memory directly. For NumPy arrays, it gives you a span of t. Same memory, no copying. For multidimensional arrays in .NET, you get tensor span. This is not a nice to have. This is what makes CSnakes practical for real work AI workloads. Let me give you a real example. Go to Hugging Face, pick pretty much any of the 1.7 million models. Scroll down to how to use it. You'll see pip install. Before CSnakes, as a C# developer, you were stuck. You either rewrote your app in Python, or you did not use the model, or you did one of the clunky methods I mentioned before. Now you add the package to your requirements text, call the function from C#, and it just works. Anthony built a demo library called Transformer Sharp that makes most of Hugging Face models available to .NET with about 500 lines of code. Now, is this magic? No, it's not. You need to think about Python development. CSnake gives you options. You can download Python automatically and letting CSnake handle it. This means you don't need Python installed on your target machines. You can point it to an existing installation if you want. You can use environment variables for containers. There's some complexity here, but it is manageable complexity, and the benefits far outweigh the deployment considerations. Think about this from a career perspective. Companies want developers who can build intelligent applications. They do not want two separate teams, one for C# and one for AI. They want one person who can do both. That skill set is rare. CSnakes makes you that person without abandoning what you already know. CSnakes lets you say yes. Let me be honest about limitations. Complex Python objects do not always marshal cleanly. You need type hints. Some deployment scenarios need planning. But for text processing, data analysis, calling AI libraries, CSnakes works. The integration is clean, the performance is good, the developer experience is excellent. I use this in production. It has changed how we approach Python integration entirely. The AI revolution is happening. Python has the libraries, C# has the enterprise story. CSnakes lets you use both without choosing, without hacks, without REST APIs, without separate services. One process, direct function calls, shared memory. If you have questions along the way, reach out to me on LinkedIn or leave a comment on Udemy. I will help you work through any issues you run into. Let's get started.